Well, hi there, folks. Welcome to the program. This, of course, is Stinchfield, the podcast. A lot to talk about today. We got the budget shutdown, which will be voted on later tonight. I don't expect the Democrats to cave just yet. I do expect them to cave by the time Friday rolls around, when federal employees, including our United States military, air traffic controllers, etc., would miss a paycheck. Friday would be the first day a paycheck would be missed. That's going to put a lot of pressure on the Democrats. We need 5 senators to cave. I don't think it'll happen tonight. We shall see. The other situation I want to talk about is the growing threat of Antifa, not just in Portland and Chicago, but across the country. And maybe more importantly, the growing threat of radical political leaders who are putting the public in danger by their refusal to clamp down on Antifa, by their refusal to help federal agents crack down on Antifa. What happened in Chicago over the weekend is nothing short of criminal. Chicago, federal agents go in, end up having shots fired at an Antifa goon who was ramming Border Patrol cars. Ends up a foot chase, some things like this. They start to flood Chicago PD to help federal agents, and the chief of patrol says, stand down. They put politics over their fellow police officers. They put literally their own agenda over the safety and security of Chicagoans and, quite frankly, American citizens and their own brethren. It is morally inept to not go help an officer in need. And quite frankly, all of those officers who actually stood down, I hold you just as accountable. I have said over and over again, at some point, you get to a point in time where you're going to have to make a decision. When you are given an unconstitutional or unlawful order, what are you going to do? And to all these officers, you obeyed an unlawful order. Federal agents needed help. You needed to go to the scene, take the repercussions afterwards. What would have happened if you're marched up in front of the media and say, hey, I got officers under fire. I'm going to help. By and large, the public would have stood up to help you. I know the district attorney and the governor of Illinois wouldn't help you, but by and large, the American public most certainly would be behind you. Maybe you lose your job at Chicago PD. You'll instantly get a job at ICE. Look, they're giving $50,000 bonuses to get a job at ICE right now. Not bad. So we're going to talk about all this on the program today. I'm going to play for you the audio tape of the officers. We're going to play that, all right? And it's very important that we do. All right, with that, let's get the show started.
Uncensored and unapologetic. This is Stinchfield. Here's your host, Grant Stinchfield.
All right, welcome, everybody. This is Stinchfield, the podcast. Chicago police ought to be ashamed of itself, specifically top brass, I'm sure, taking its orders from the mayor to stand down when federal agents need help. A police officer should never stand down when someone is in need, especially a fellow police officer. But the bottom line is the public was in need here, too. You had a dangerous individual. Apparently, she had an AR in her car. She was willing to ram federal officers. What would she do to the public if they got in her way? You needed to flood the area. You needed to get to the scene. But cops in Chicago did not do that. That is a very, very big problem. We are going to talk about that. But first, let me tell you about my friends over at Energized Health. Okay? EnergizedHealth.com is where I want you to go. This is about taking your life back through intracellular hydration. Okay? Getting hydrated at a cellular level can change your life around. I lost 15 pounds in 2 weeks. Just changing stuff up. No crazy hard workouts. No crazy diets that you're never going to be able to stick to, that you just come off. We've all done it before. We diet, it works, but it's unsustainable. The Energized Health Protocol is 100% totally sustainable, backed by science, and it is in many respects, a mind, body, soul program that will change the way you think as well in such a great way. You'll be happier after this, not to mention losing weight, gaining muscle mass, and all the vitals going in the right direction. EnergizedHealth.com. That's EnergizedHealth.com. You tell them Grant Stinchfield sent you. All right. Now that we got that out of the way, I want to play for you the tape. We'll play the most important part, but then I want to go through all of the tape on this, okay, of the police telling folks to stand down. All right? Folks specifically being Chicago PD. This is the audio tape you need to hear.
All right, and 999, just to confirm, 39th Place in Kedzie, they were saying that they were being surrounded by that large crowd, and they were requesting the police were not sending, I'm waving off all the cars heading to 39th Place in Kedzie.
Again, those are the orders we're being given.
Okay, 10-4. And again, for all the units that we called to go over that way, 39th Place in Kedzie, if you could just hold off 911, 913, 923, 924, 933, 934, just disregard that, 39th Place in Kedzie.
39th Place in Kedzie is where federal agents are in a potential shootout, shots fired, a woman with an AR-15 ramming Border Patrol agents who are taking part in this immigration action. And now you got a possible chase on foot and Chicago police standing down? You've got to be kidding me. Well, Fraternal Order of Police said this, and that there's a possibility that even the officers broke city code. And that city code is Illinois Trust Act 5 ILC 805. Basically prohibit local officers from assisting in civil immigration enforcement, such as detaining someone solely for immigration status. But absolutely nothing in those laws. Okay, this is from a local attorney. Prohibit officers from responding to an emergency, rendering medical aid, or protecting life and property. In fact, under Illinois law, every peace officer has a duty to render aid and a duty to intervene to prevent harm or injury when it is safe to do so. So the law says every officer must intervene in an effort to prevent harm or injury. Once the shots are fired, once the vehicles are rammed, this is no longer an immigration operation. This is now a public safety concern, that this could spill over into the public, not just between Border Patrol agents and an Antifa goon. So the mayor was asked about this, and I want you to listen to his response. It's awful.
Confirm the reports that Chicago police were ordered to stand down when ICE agents were surrounded and rammed by cars. And do you want Chicago police not to help ICE agents?
Our police officers respond to every single emergency in this city. The brave women and men who sign up to serve and protect this city are committed to keeping us safe.
This guy wants to play word games. You're telling me that shots fired, ramming a federal officer is not an emergency? He's going to try to tell you that this is an immigration operation that they don't respond to. It now transcends all of that, Mr. Mayor.
And what we have made very clear is through our welcoming city ordinance, when it comes to civil immigration enforcement, absent a warrant, our police department will not dub as federal ICE agents. In fact, we believe it's antithetical to driving violence down in the city of Chicago. When people call 911, we do not ask what their immigration status is.
What is he talking about? You've got federal officers being rammed. You've got shots fired. You've got a chase on foot. What does this have to do with immigration at this point? Now you have how many laws broken that have nothing to do with immigration? You ram a Border Patrol vehicle, you've now committed assault on the Border Patrol agents, okay? That's not an immigration operation, but that's what he wants you to believe.
Right? And so our police department will respond to every incident in which their services are needed to keep people safe, protecting the fundamental right to be able to protest, ensuring the maximum safety of our residents. That is the top priority of our administration.
Can you confirm, though, were Chicago police told to stand down?
What I can confirm is that our police department responds to every single 911 call. When 911 is called and there's an emergency, our police department shows up, as they've always done.
So I guess federal agents needed to dial 911, not tell dispatch over a radio. Is that it? So federal agents would have dialed 911? You see how disingenuous this guy is? So an emergency regarding the health and safety of federal officers, that doesn't count. Only 911 calls by residents of the city of Chicago. That's awful. So let's listen to the entire radio transmission to see exactly how this went down. And when you hear this, you will be so outraged if you haven't heard it already.
Okay. Any kind of particular hairstyle, just younger, male, Hispanic, on foot, wearing all black?
No hairstyle.
Okay, 10-4. And one is for the hit and run. This guy fled from the scene at 37th Place in Kedzie. It all started at I-55 in Kedzie. Then they fled southbound at Kedzie, where that offending vehicle crashed. They ran the federal agent off the road. They fled on foot westbound 37th Place.
All right, you hear this? They've now rammed their vehicle into an ICE agent, Border Patrol, tried to run the Border Patrol agent off the road. There's now a foot chase ensuing, and they're going to tell them to stand down as if the general public isn't in danger for wherever this lunatic is that's on the loose.
From Kedzie. It was a male Hispanic younger wearing all black clothing. 99.
Yeah, send the cars in that direction. Have them stay put 2 or 3 blocks away, all right? Have them hold tight until I give you further direction, please.
Okay, 10-4. And for the units responding to 39th Place in Kedzie per 999, if you guys can just...
Now, hold tight, she says. First off, if that's where it ended, I would be here blasting you. But that's not where it ends. It's not hold tight. It's do not go. First you think it's, okay, hold tight for further direction. We're going to send you where we go so we can catch the suspect. Nope. I've got to call the mayor. I've got to check and see if we can help federal agents because we despise federal agents. This chief of patrol who made this decision ought to resign immediately. He's not a cop's cop. Or she, who knows who it is. Not a cop's cop. Chief of patrol, resign.
For the units responding to 39th Place in Kedzie, if you guys can start heading there as quick as you can, and then just hold tight for instructions with 999.
999.
999.
So the chief of patrol, clear everybody up. We're not responding over there.
Radio check.
Clear everybody out? Per the chief of patrol, clear everybody out. We're not responding over there.
And again, per the chief of patrol, we have all the units that, per 999, chief of patrol said all units clear out from there. We're not sending anybody over to that location.
62, we're going to clear out as soon as we can, Spot. We're like locked in over here, so we're going to do the best we can to get out of here as soon as we can.
What? Who was that officer? I want to figure out exactly who that officer was so I can demand his resignation as well. You're a cop wearing a badge. You got fellow cops. I don't care whether they're feds or Chicago PD or New York PD or a park ranger. You have fellow law enforcement that is engaged in a violent altercation. Okay, I'll clear out of here as soon as they unblock the road. Where's the officer calling in saying, no, I'm not stopping. I'm going to help officers who have the potential to be under fire at this point. They need our help. We see what these mobs are capable of. Let's make sure they're not surrounded by these goons. Instead, you're going to go, oh, yeah, excuse me, I can't get out because my car is blocked. As soon as it's blocked, I'll leave, okay? You're a disgrace to the police force, man. I've been said for a long time that I always believe that LAPD, NYPD, Los Angeles and New York, Chicago PD, I believe that by and large the officers want to do the job and enforce the law. This is not the case in Portland, and we'll talk about that anymore. It's been infiltrated by leftists who are now serving as police officers. But maybe I'm wrong about Chicago PD and LA and New York, which were once the finest police departments in the country. Maybe I'm wrong. How do you call yourself a cop and say okay to standing down? How pathetic actually is that? To me, it's very pathetic. This is the governor of Illinois being asked about this.
DHS says that CBP officers shot and wounded a woman in Chicago yesterday after, they say, she allegedly rammed a law enforcement vehicle, and agents were boxed in by multiple cars. The spokesperson for DHS, Tricia McLaughlin, accused Chicago police of leaving the scene and refusing to assist agents in securing the area. What do you know about this incident? Were federal agents boxed in and assaulted?
Well, we don't have a lot of facts. What happens in these sorts of incidents is typically ICE puts out a press release before anybody else can speak with the press, and then it gets reported on social media and elsewhere. Remember, these are the same folks who killed a person, unarmed person, just a couple of weeks ago in Franklin Park. At first, they said that the officer had been threatened with his life. The reality of it and the truth of it has now come out, and that wasn't the case. They killed somebody. So here, it's really hard to know exactly what the facts are, and they won't let us access the facts. They are just putting out their propaganda, and then we've got to later determine what actually happened.
Been assaulted.
So they
DHS,
believe
says
that
that
ICE,
CBP
excuse me,
officers
sorry for the technical. They believe that ICE is putting out propaganda. Jay Pritzker calls it propaganda. It's a press release from a federal agency. And these ICE agents are being under attack, and they always use this idea of, oh, well, you're unarmed, you never should be shot. What about if someone's threatening you with a motor vehicle, threatening you with bodily harm, with all kinds of ways to damage you? They're bigger than you. They're coming at you. They're charging you, whatever it may be. Stop vilifying ICE agents. They are out there doing the job that they were tasked to do and commanded to do, not just by President Trump, but by the law. They are enforcing the laws on the books, and they hate it. And Jay Pritzker, with this rhetoric about propaganda, is aiding and abetting the criminals and really encouraging them to lash out against ICE agents. To me, it's absolutely pathetic. So we're going to talk about how bad it is. I'm going to get an opinion from a former sheriff about what these cops should have been. That's Alex Villanueva. He was the former L.A. County sheriff out in L.A., and he's with me. Officers should have disregarded this unlawful order and gone to respond to help these agents when health, safety, life was all in danger. All right, before I play that for you, I want to tell you about my friends over at NFN8. If you want very risk-free investment where you can lock in to up to 20% on your investment, paid out monthly, okay? And this is the key. It's not paid out yearly. It doesn't just go into an account. You never see the money. That money literally is paid to you monthly, that 20% on your investment, annualized. It's like cash flow. Mailbox money. You just sit back, relax, and watch the money come in. Get20now.com is the website I want you to go to. It's about Bitcoin mining. They're using technology to mine Bitcoin at the cheapest possibility, the cheapest way possible. They're buying the electricity the cheapest way possible. They're building these data centers in areas where they can get the electricity cheap, and then they're cooling all these computers in such an amazing fashion that allows them to mine Bitcoin cheaper than anybody else can. This is what the investment is about. They will pay you up to 20% interest on your investment. I have made a sizable investment with NFN8. Go to get20now.com. Fill out the form to learn more about this fabulous program. They will get back with you. Make sure you take their call. Make sure you talk to them about this because you're not going to want to miss this opportunity. I don't know how long it can last. Get20now.com. Get20now.com. Up to 20% return on your money. Locked in. Okay? Locked in. That's the key. paid out monthly. Get20now.com. That's get20now.com. All right. My buddy Nick Sorter is out in Portland. I'm going to play some of that, but before I do that, I want to play for you an interview I did with Sheriff Alex Villanueva, who was talking about these ICE agents and what should happen.
And that is just astonishing. And this is an active felonies in progress where people's lives are in danger. And you have local law enforcement turning their back. It's entirely acceptable.
Sheriff, I was thinking about this. If I was a police officer or sheriff's deputy, and I know that my fellow law enforcement agent on a federal side has just been in a possible shootout with Antifa, I'm not standing down. I'm going, and I think about the men of Benghazi who were told to stand down and they didn't. They went to the consulate anyway. I mean, this is, I think, the difference when heroes are made or broken. But I'm not standing down if one of my guys is under fire, whether he's a Fed or not.
No, I agree with you 100%. In fact, this chief of patrol in Chicago, he had the choice where he could have been the hero and saved the day and, resign the next day and say, screw you, Mayor of Chicago. And he chose to basically cherish the stars on his collar instead of actually doing his job and following his oath of office. Shame on him.
Yeah. It's politics, is it not? I mean, he chose politics over lives.
Yes, and that is sad. And I hate to see that happen here in California. But in June, when we had ICE under attack, we saw little glimpses of that when the CHP officers were huddled under the 101 freeway overpass, pelted by bricks. And there was platoons of both sheriff's deputies and LAPD a block away, and they did not come to their aid when they should have.
Yeah, those poor officers. I mean, they could have been killed down there. It was so frightening to watch that. And Sheriff Villanueva is with us. He is running for LA County Sheriff. And guys, he needs your volunteer hours, your donations to help him. AlexVillanueva2026.com. And Sheriff, just switching gears a little bit, because I've been wanting to ask you about this story that came out late last week. And that is that the LA County Board of Supervisors has now defunded the DA's office by $24 million. Now, I know we're in a budget crunch, but it's amazing what they can find money to spend on ridiculous projects when we actually have a functional DA's office right now, and they want to defund it by $24 million.
Oh, that's appalling. They propped up new departments like the Justice Care and Opportunities Department. I kid you not, that's the name. The Department of Youth Development, even though we're paying for schools. And they're defunding the DA's office by $24 million. Those people have such a huge backlog from the Gascon years that they still have to deal with, plus all the new crime that has to be competently addressed and prosecuted. And it's not going to happen when you have a dearth of deputy district attorneys at the helm. And right now, they're really showing their true colors. The defunding ideology of the board continues unabated.
Yeah.
Sheriff, we talk about defunding the police. I would offer up that defunding the district attorney's office in any city across America is just as dangerous as defunding the police, because now you're not putting criminals that the police arrest behind bars. You're literally holding and gumming up the system and not giving it the resources it needs to put criminals away.
Oh, that is 100% accurate. And this is about dismantling the criminal justice system as we know it. They want to reimagine public safety, where it basically involves propping up nonprofits, shoveling the money towards them. They call it reinvesting, and then basically true safety goes by the wayside because that victims really don't matter to this crowd.
Yeah, it is just unbelievable to me. When I saw that story, I thought, what are we doing here? We finally get the DA's office out of trouble, and now we're going to create a ridiculous backlog. Sheriff, thank goodness you are there, and you got to help him out, because LA could certainly use Sheriff Villanueva back in his office. All you have to do to help him out, donate and volunteer, is AlexVillanueva2026.com, AlexVillanueva2026.com, or you could give him a follow as well on social media. And Sheriff, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
All right. That is the great Sheriff Alex Villanueva. Now, when you think about what he's saying, he would have gone to the Chicago police, and then L.A. $24 million defunding the district attorney's office. We finally have a DA in Los Angeles, and Nathan Hochman, that is putting criminals behind bars, and so they can't control him. They can't stop him from enforcing the law except by defunding him and taking away his ability to keep lawyers on staff, prosecutors on staff, to go after the worst of the worst. Well, Nick Sorter, okay, was in Portland. And again, we had him on the Real America's Voice show the other night on Friday when he was basically attacked and then arrested. Portland police arrested this guy for saving a burning flag, trying to video the lawlessness of Antifa in Portland. Well, he was attacked again last night. You think police come to his rescue? No, because I believe the radical leftists have recruited sympathizing police officers into the Portland Police Department. Portland is no longer keeping law-abiding citizens safe. They're siding with Antifa. It's becoming clear to me. They give them, quote, room to protest, which actually means complete control of city blocks. It's a bizarre situation, but this is Nick, again, getting attacked in Portland.
Here, and we're live, right? We got it? Okay. So now you're gonna get assaulted, you're gonna be pushed, you're gonna be... Don't do that! Where'd it go?
I mean, look at this.
I don't know, man. I got you.
These are awful goons. They're street animals. How else do you explain what they are?
I know. I've been neutral. I had to pick this up because I got. Yes, I have. I had to pick this up because I got dropped. Yes, I did. I got as much as I could. I didn't see it, and I was asking people what happened. I almost had somebody hold the camera until I started to help him.
I think one of the, what do I call them? Trump supporters? They're not a Trump supporter. They're just an American who respects the rule of law that's out there trying to document what the left is doing because the mainstream media wants to give them a pass. I think one of those guys thought he was going to be attacked and punched one of the Antifa members in the face is what I think happens. Watch here.
Where'd it go? I don't know, man. I got you.
There you go. That's the punch right there. And the guy goes down. As well he should be. What do you want? You feel like you're being attacked. You feel like you're not safe. Nick Sorter, again, he's got that same flag, by the way. This is him.
Don't do that!
Here, he's got the flag as they steal the flag from him. Okay? So there he is with the flag. They steal the flag from him. And then, of course, he goes back and he gets the flag. So this is the kind of craziness we're seeing all over the place. This is what ICE agents are up against. This is in Los Angeles just yesterday, I believe, when they're forced to arrest this woman who parks her car right in the way of the ICE facility and refuses to move, and she thinks she's not going to be arrested.
That's right. Get your helmet on. Get your helmet on. You gonna come tow it with your helmet? Yep. Oh, okay.
It's almost worth just letting you watch the whole thing.
Strap it to your helmet, man.
What are you trying to do?
Tow it tough, man.
Run California Place 7, Boyd, David.
Listen to her taunt. Now he's going to approach the driver of the vehicle who's out of her car. She's just going to park and block the ICE facility.
Where the less lethal's at? Come on, come on.
How do you think you're not going to get arrested?
She literally was asking a question. She's just asking a question.
All right, well, now she's been told to move the
ridiculous
car.
coming out here all armored up like this to fucking tell someone to move their car.
Badge number 1445.
Yep.
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 Right here.
All right. Stay 9 here now.
Yep.
945.
5.
Badge number 16546.
That one.
Badge number 262.
Now,
Badge number.
these people are out
What are
here.
you doing? What the
Not
fuck are
moving
you
the car.
doing?
What the fuck's wrong with
She's
you guys?
arrested.
You cannot. What are you doing? You cannot.
And she resists.
You are not allowed. You are allowed.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
You are not.
The person filming is outraged. What are you outraged about? She's not moving her car, and she's resisting.
Yeah.
Shirt's coming off.
She was about to fucking move.
And the person filming says she was about to move. She wasn't about to move.
Stop pulling her clothes off! Stop pulling her clothes off!
And pulling her clothes off. Everybody can see exactly what's happening here. Now, to these officers, she ought to be in handcuffs sooner than
Sexual
this.
assault is happening right now.
I mean, literally, I would have put her up against the hood of the car, put her hands behind her back.
Wait, do you want me to move your car for you?
You're arrested for blocking devices.
Move it up for you. You want me to move your car for you?
It literally is that simple. But that's what ICE agents are up against, and that's the least of the problems. So Kristi Noem speaks out about all this.
We have terrorist organizations, and that's what I keep reminding people is we're not just dealing with criminals. We've got networks of cartel members and terrorists that are infiltrating these cities. And every day that we don't bring them to justice, they're recruiting new members, more people to their ranks. And that is why every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, DHS and our officers are working to get them off the street so that we can stop them in their tracks.
Well, they should be stopped in their tracks. How do we stop them in their tracks? Arrest them. That's how you stop them in the tracks. You arrest them. Now, we have a real problem with law enforcement or lack thereof in America today. And so we've got to get back to the business of cities handling their own business. President Trump can't send the National Guard everywhere. Remember, we had a federal judge now in Portland that says, nope, you can't send the California National Guard there. I guess it was a California judge because Gavin Newsom sued. Can't send the California National Guard there. So President Trump, I think he's working with Texas to send the Texas National Guard there. Governor Abbott in Texas is going to say, fine, take them. Law and order around the country. That's all we want. But the left is going to stand in their way every step of the way. And it's sad, really, that they do that. But this is the difference between us and them. One group wants success for America. The other group doesn't. You know who does want success for America? Patriot Mobile. 972-PATRIOT, 972-PATRIOT, patriotmobile.com/Grant. That's where I want you to go. You can choose what network you want to be on, so you will have access to all three major networks. It's great. It allows you to get a performance guarantee. If you're not happy, you can just switch networks. Keep your phone, upgrade your phone, get a new phone. Patriot Mobile can help you with all of that. 100% U.S.-based customer service. And guess what? Patriot Mobile supports not just programming like this that allows us to keep our voices amplified, but Patriot Mobile supports causes that we believe in, from gun rights to veterans to free speech issues to fighting for the right to life. Patriot Mobile's on the front lines. Fighting for our kids in schools and school choice. All of this, Patriot Mobile is behind. So know when you pay your mobile phone bill to Patriot Mobile, you're knowing that a portion of that money is going to help move America in the right direction, as opposed to the other three, which is moving America in the wrong direction. So please make the switch today. If you haven't yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. I really don't. PatriotMobile.com/Grant. I have a Patriot Mobile serviced phone, and when I say no complaints, I mean no complaints. It is fabulous. PatriotMobile.com/Grant. 972-PATRIOT. Use the promo code GRANT for a free month's activation. 972-PATRIOT. You make sure you tell them that I sent you. All right. So now we face a budget shutdown continuing. Today, apparently, Democrats are going to vote again on whether or not to lift the budget shutdown. I don't think they are going to do this. Hakeem Jeffries. Now, I do think they will do it by Friday because that's the first day federal employees are going to miss a paycheck. That's a lot of pressure on them. But they don't even have the media behind them. The leftist corporate media is turning on them. They realize the Democrats are doing a great injustice to America by shutting this budget down. And by the way, this is only for like 6 more weeks. This funds us through basically Thanksgiving. So we're going to be doing this all over again 6 weeks from now. Just get it done.
Let me ask you, because you say this is a Republican shutdown, but it's Democratic senators who are withholding their votes on what is called a clean resolution. That means no strings attached, which is something, quite frankly, Leader, that you and other Democrats have advocated for in the past. Take a look.
You do not use the threat of shutting down government to try to advance your policy agenda.
First thing that the House has to do is pass a clean 6-week CR.
A continuing resolution that is at the fiscal year 2023 levels is the only way forward.
So there you go. You got the mainstream media asking Hakeem Jeffries about it. And then she even plays clips of Democrats themselves saying, don't shut down the government for a clean CR, continuing resolution, which keeps spending right where it is, which we're not really all that happy about. Some changes were done with the one big, beautiful bill, but it's still by and large a Nancy Pelosi spending budget right now. So why would they gum this up? They gum this up because they hate President Trump. It's the only reason they gum it all up. Listen to Senator Kennedy spell this all out.
Basically, President Trump just said, we want you to take some stuff out of the budget that we think is wasteful. And we did. And that upset the Congresswoman. She's entitled to be upset if she wants to. But that really upset the socialist wing of the party. And so we took out, and here's what they want us to put back in. We found that under President Biden, they were spending $3 million for circumcisions and vasectomies in Zambia. We took that out. The Congresswoman says, we're going to shut down government until you put that back in. We found $500,000 of American taxpayer money for electric buses in Rwanda. We found $3.6 million for pastry cooking classes and dance focus groups for male prostitutes in Haiti. I kid you not. I'm not making this up. It was in the budget under President Biden. We took it out. Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez in the socialist wing, the loon wing of the Democratic Party, says we're going to shut down government until you put it back in.
Now, let me get this straight. Funding electric buses in Rwanda, circumcisions for men in Zambia. I really don't want my tax dollars going to those things. Cooking classes for male prostitutes in Haiti? How does that move the ball forward in any way for American citizens? And this is what the Democrats are fighting for, Senator Kennedy?
I'll just read you a few more that we took out. They are demanding we put back in. $6 million for media organizations for the Palestinians. $833,000 for transgender people in Nepal. $300,000 for a pride parade in Lesotho. $882,000 for social media and mentorship in Serbia. $4.2 million. We took it out. The Congresswoman and the socialist wing of their party says we've got to put that back in for the open government. $4.2 million for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and intersex people in the Western Balkans and Uganda. I could spend the rest of the afternoon here. We took all that out. It upset Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez. It upset the socialist wing of her party. And now that wing of her party and the Congresswoman are threatening all other Democrats and saying, you've got to shut that government down until we get what we want. And part of what they want is to add this kind of stuff back into.
I'm telling you, we are on to these Democrats. I'm telling you, the American people are on to them. They just want to say no. Now, look, when Joe Biden was in office, and we would use situations like this, we would say, hey, let's use it, shut down the government, get things under control. But what we were trying to do was rein some of these things in. Right now, we have a current government that's still spending way too much money. The Democrats should be lucky with the budget that they'd be extending, because it's not my first choice of a budget. They should feel lucky. Now, Speaker Johnson spelled out what's really going on here.
The Democrats are demanding is that illegal aliens that care for them in an emergency room should be reimbursed at a higher rate.
To the hospitals.
To the hospitals than American citizens, young pregnant women. They want to pay more for illegal aliens than U.S. citizens, and we are against that. The reason it's illegal right now for illegal aliens to receive taxpayer-funded benefits is because Republicans wrote it into the law July 4th. Don't take my word for it. Look at page 57, section 2141 of Chuck Schumer's counterproposal. It's on my website at speaker.gov. Everybody go look. Don't take my word for it. Read their section. They want to reverse those changes.
So the reversal basically spells out, I had it someplace here. Oh, here, I do. I have it. I think I did this on the podcast last week, but I do have what he's talking about. And it basically says it wants to repeal the provisions that allow the federal government to verify eligibility. So if you repeal all the provisions to verify eligibility, what do you think happens? Everybody that's ineligible just signs up for it. We had so much waste, fraud, and abuse when it came to illegal aliens that were getting all of those types of things, Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP programs, through fraud. We rein that in because now you have a better verification system. Democrats say no, repeal the verification system. Now, why would you want to do that unless you were trying to cheat? It's the same thing as voter ID. The only reason you'd repeal voter ID or not want voter ID is if you're trying to cheat. The only reason you'd repeal verification of are you eligible to receive taxpayer benefits is if you want to game the system. Again, this is common freaking sense. Common sense. Now, we talked to Jay Obernolte, member of Congress from California, about all this. I'm going to play that in a minute, but first, this is Cory Booker, the senator. Let's hear what he has to say about this.
Aren't you a little worried that they're going to blame you for that because they need Democrats? Yes, those could affect your constituents.
Hey, you hear this is what I forget this lady's name. Margaret. No, that's Margaret Brennan's the other one. I forget this one's name. But anyway, mainstream media. And she is literally explaining why the American public is going to blame the Democrats. This is almost unheard of that we have the mainstream media calling out Democrats for their lunacy.
I don't care about the blame game. I care about Americans losing their health insurance, rates of death going up, hospitals being crushed, medical services ending in places in rural America.
None of that is true, by the way.
This is a tsunami of Donald Trump's creation. The pain, the hurt, the fear that's going to rise amongst millions of Americans who are going to lose health insurance. Dear God, just come to the table and do something to help Americans. This is truly, for many Americans, existential. We're getting calls from Republicans in my state who are part of hospital boards saying what is coming is crazy, and it's not coming in January. People will start literally getting their notes about their health care premiums going up in a matter of days. We need to deal with the crisis of the American people, a crisis of Donald Trump's.
So there is Cory Booker just spewing a whole ton of lies about what's behind all this. So again, more ridiculous nonsense from Democrats. I want to play the interview I did with Congressman Jay Obernolte, including the idea of why are we paying members of Congress? If there's a government shutdown, the last people that need to be paid are members of Congress. There's a reason why, and I understand it makes sense, the reason why. We'll tell you about it in a moment, but it is still a real problem for me that we're doing that. It really is. Hey, let me tell you, folks, about my friends over at the Wellness Company. twc.health/grant. Use the promo code GRANT. I'm going to tell you, back in stock is the Parasite Cleanse, okay? Mebendazole and ivermectin. I just came off a 20-day course of the cleanse, and I feel better. I've lost some bloat. My skin is cleared up. This is FDA approved. It is probably the best parasite cleanse on the market, mebendazole and ivermectin, that the wellness company concocts all right here in the United States. All right. And you may see fembendazole, but that is not approved for human use. Mebendazole is. All right. So this stuff works. twc.health/grant. Detox your body today. Detox it from parasites. And I'll tell you what I'm talking about. This right here. That is parasites in raw fish, which happens all over the place. So again, this parasite cleanse is great. twc.health/grant. All you have to do is go to the website, sign up. Doctor will call you. They'll send it right to your house, and you get on this course, and you detox your body. And also, don't forget, folks, the emergency medical kits, the prescription medications you need, all right in here. There's a whole slew of them, including amoxicillin, Z-Pak, ivermectin is in here. Everything you need to keep you and your family safe in case you can't get to a drugstore, in case they're closed down, cyber attack, God forbid a terrorist attack, who knows what, natural disaster. Have the drugs on hand to be prepared. twc.health/grant. Use that promo code GRANT. All right, Congressman Jay Obernolte came on the radio show this morning. I wanted to ask him about the government shutdown and get his thoughts, as well as why are we paying members of Congress, okay? You know, Jen, I want to make a prediction.
Tell me.
I think the Democrats are going to fold when it comes to the budget shutdown. There's nothing in their favor right now. Even I see signs of the leftist corporate media questioning them on this.
They have been.
When you know, the House offers up a continuing resolution, just continue spending while we work it out.
Yep.
How we're going to work it out over the next 6 weeks, I have no idea. But I don't see how the Democrats continue this.
Well, let's check in with Congressman Jay Obernolte. I would imagine he might agree with you as well. He represents California's 23rd Congressional District. You can give him a follow at Jay Obernolte. Congressman, good morning to you.
Good morning, Jen, Grant. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. All right. So do you agree with Grant's premise that, I mean, I've seen it this weekend on the Sunday shows. The media is actually saying, well, you are the ones that shut the government down, Democrats. We heard that. So what do you think? What's going on here?
I completely agree with Grant. You know, this is, you have to look at the context of what we're voting on in Washington, D.C. This is just a clean continuing resolution. This is something that funds the government for 6 weeks while the two parties continue to negotiate on the actual appropriations bills, which is, you know, on a long-term basis, the way out of this mess. There are not any policy riders on top of that. That's what we mean when we say it's clean. And this is exactly the same vehicle that the Democrats voted for 13 times during the Biden administration when the parties couldn't agree on appropriations. So, you know, if it was fine for the Biden administration, I think it's fine for the Trump administration. And eventually, saner heads are going to prevail. And so the Senate's going to vote again 5:30 Eastern this afternoon on that clean CR. And I'm hopeful that we're going to get another couple of Democrats and put an end to this because it's just ridiculous.
Well, it would be great if they could do it. And then comes up, I mean, how do we even get to the point of a budget? I don't know if you're going to get 60 members of the Senate to agree. Certainly we can get a budget through the House, but when we get down to, we extend this, right? And I hate CRs, by the way. I've always been on record. I don't really like doing business like this. How do we end up coming to a compromise here in the end when we're so far apart on things?
Right. Well, I mean, as you point out, we didn't last year. Last year, finally, Congress had to throw in the towel and pass what we call a long-term CR. So all of the fiscal year last year was done under a CR, which, as you point out, is a terrible way of governing, because that means that instead of making a point-by-point case of what department deserves what amount of money this year, we're just saying, everything gets funded at the same level as last year. Which, I mean, I guess if you're a fan of fiscal conservatism like I am, and I know you are, maybe that's a good thing because it means Congress is not spending more money. In fact, on an inflation-adjusted basis, they're spending less. But still, it's not a good way of governing our country.
When was the last time we had a budget?
Well, I mean, budget, the process of budgeting in Washington, D.C. is fundamentally broken. We've taken the fundamental aspects of budgeting, which are planning, expenditures, and revenues, and we've broken them up and assigned them to three different policy committees. For planning, it's the budget committee, which I sit on. Expenditures, it's appropriations, and revenues, that's ways and means. And the three committees just don't talk to each other. So when you say, when was there last a budget? I mean, we had a budget. We passed a budget bill as part of the reconciliation process earlier this year. I mean, but a budget is just a plan. And if you don't follow the plan, then, you know, what's the point of having it?
So like the last time, we can't really think about the last time we followed a budget, right?
Well, I mean, so if you ask the last time that we passed appropriations bills and had all 12 appropriations bills passed through regular order, that was 13 years ago in Congress.
I'm sorry, you know how much I love you, Jay. This is not anything on you, but this is because I know you'd like to have a budget, but this is why people distrust Congress so much, because I think that's kind of insane that we haven't had something like legitimate in 13 years. That is just, it's nuts. Oy.
It's a bigger problem, Jen, because this is not a symptom of people's distrust of Congress, you know, the fact that Congress couldn't get this done. It's a symptom of the intense dysfunction in Congress and our larger democracy. This is the problem, that we somehow have forgotten how to sit down and work things out.
And do stuff, right. Get things done.
So Congress said we've got TSA agents not getting paid. We've got military members not getting paid. Yet, as you know, members of Congress are being paid. As I understand it, it's constitutional that this gets paid. What do you think was in the framers' minds when they were mandating that Congress gets paid during a budget shutdown when so many others don't?
Yeah, well, the framers didn't exactly say that, but they did draw really firm firewalls between the different branches of government. And that's why when we're talking about these appropriations bills, these affect the executive branch, right? So they have nothing to do with the legislative branch, which is why members of Congress get paid. I'm not comfortable with that situation. I mean, I don't think if we're not paying our military men and women in uniform that Congress ought to get paid, and that's why a bunch of members of Congress and I have sent a letter to House administration saying, look, do not pay us during the government shutdown. We don't want to get paid until our military men and women get paid, which I think is the right thing to do. But, I wish the law said that.
Can you change the law, or does it take a constitutional amendment to change this situation?
Well, my understanding would be it would have to take a constitutional amendment because we already have an amendment. It's the latest one we adopted that says that Congress cannot change its salary one way or the other in a current system of Congress. We can only change it in the following session. And that was to prevent Congress from voting themselves a raise, but it also prevents Congress from voting themselves a pay cut. So you would have to change that, is what legal scholars are telling us.
Do you want to know something? And maybe we'll save this for another conversation. Jen knows this, but you'd probably be shocked to know this. I want a massive pay raise for members of Congress. And I want a pay raise close to $400,000 a year for members of Congress. And the reason I want that is because if you're an average, everyday, middle-class guy with a family, you can't afford to be a congressman. You can't go to Washington, D.C. and get a place to live and fly yourself out there and take off from work and do all these things. So we get what? Multi-gazillionaires going into Congress or people like AOC bartenders who are actually getting a raise instead of just middle-class folks who want to go there and help and serve. And so, but that's not something you probably want
pretty
to
good, though, huh, Congressman? He's going to try to get you a raise. You like it?
Well, I mean, he has a very valid point about people who serve in Congress. And, I mean, basically you have to be wealthy or retired or this is the best job that you've ever had in your life. You know, those three categories of people.
Yeah.
And, you know, unfortunately, every time we're supposed to get a COLA, a cost of living adjustment, and Congress has been in the habit of waiving even that. every year, year after year. And unfortunately, it really does limit the people that can serve in Congress. He really has a good point about that.
All right, we're way over, but 10 seconds. What are the chances that we open up tonight? What do you think? Or this week even? 10%, 20%?
As each day goes by, I think the chances go up. We need another 5 Democrats in the Senate to just vote for the clean CR and get us out of this shutdown mess. The real gating factor is going to be on the 15th of the month, where that's the first paycheck that our military men and women will miss.
They'll miss it, yeah.
And that's going to be pretty difficult for, I think, the Democrats to stomach. But also, by the way, it will be the first Senate paycheck that gets missed. And we have never, fun fact for you, Jen, we have never had a government shutdown that actually affected the pay of the senators. So we will see if that motivates people.
All right. Congressman Jay Obernolte, we always love having you. Thanks so much for being with us. Make sure you give him a follow at Jay Obernolte. He's doing the great work for California's 23rd Congressional District. Congressman, good luck this week. We hope we see an open sign back on the Capitol again.
Yeah, thank you. Fingers crossed, guys.
Fingers crossed. All right.
I'll tell you what, I am so happy to tell you about a new sponsor of mine, the cryptocode.com/grant. This is a crypto trading system that literally takes the guesswork out of trading. It can be automated. You get trade alerts. There are the high setup probability indicators. All of it is going to be included in this system that is literally so simple to operate. So if you want steady profits, okay, if you want to build wealth, all with minimal risk, and this is the key, then the crypto code is for you. The cryptocode.com/grant. That's the website I want you to go to. So my buddies over there are running free seminars all week. This will take you through the process. They open up the playbook for you, all right? Now, as for the trading alerts that the crypto code offers, I want you to take a look at this. This is their win rate on this. 93% of the 2,175 trade alerts they have offered up multiple times per week, okay? 2,024 wins, only 151 losses for a 93% win rate. I've gone through and I've checked the math on this, and I'll tell you what, it's nothing short of amazing. So if you want to get involved in crypto, but you don't want to risk the farm, the crypto code is for you, and you're not going to spend tens of thousands of dollars for these. You know, these trading bots can be very, very expensive. This is the most reasonable deal I've seen, and it may be the most successful trading bot and system and trade alerts all packaged in one that I have seen. The cryptocode.com/grant. Go sign up for this seminar. You're not going to regret it. Trading involves risk. There's no doubt about it. Results aren't guaranteed. Terms apply. I'm not giving you financial advice. That's what the FTC wants me to tell you. What I want to tell you, though, is go to the cryptocode.com/grant. All right, folks. Did anybody see Pete Hegseth over the weekend? This is the video the mainstream media does not want you to see. So that is Pete Hegseth going in to Navy with a big victory over Air Force, 250th anniversary of Navy. And I'll tell you what, he gave a fabulous speech to the Navy midshipmen playing for the Navy football team, for the Naval Academy. And this is why I love this guy. Pete Hegseth is a guy's guy. He's a soldier's soldier, okay? And he really typifies what the Trump administration is all about. It's about representing the everyday person, the everyday American. He relates to the everyday American. President Trump, a billionaire. I've never seen a billionaire relate to an everyday working class guy like President Trump can. That permeates itself down through the administration, including to Pete Hegseth.
Matters. You got it done. Yes, sir. You got it done. In fact, the best wins are the ones where it takes you a while. Defense doesn't show up right away. Offense doesn't show up right away. Listen, you're hearing this from a all-conference honorable mention. Wide receiver, Forest Lake High School, Minnesota. I didn't go deep. I ran slant routes right across the middle. Let me tell you, I couldn't respect more what you did. You pounded through the game. When you needed a stop at the end, you got the big stop. When you needed a first down, you got the first down. That's going to be your life, not just in this game, but for the rest of your life when you're wearing a different kind of uniform. There's going to be shitty days. There's going to be tough days. There's going to be frustrations. You're going to have bad leaders. You're going to have good leaders, clear missions, and missions with no clarity at all. And what you do in those moments is what's going to be the difference between life and death for the men, for the Americans, for the sailors, for the SEALs, for the Marines that you lead in the future. You are their compass. They will look to you, just like you look to your quarterback or your linebackers or your O-line to say, hey, I'm on you, I'm on your back, we're going north. You did that today. I love the Air Force. They don't have it on you today.
How great is Pete Hegseth? Seriously. I mean, fabulous. Big thumbs up to the Secretary of War. Big thumbs up to Navy. And I think they're like 5-0 right now. Navy really playing some football. That's going to do it for us today, folks. I got Andy Biggs on the Real America's Voice show tonight. We're going to have a live report from Portland. I've got a situation brewing in Texas about Democrats supporting squatters in your home. Literally supporting the squatters in your home, okay? What they do, they are spiraling out of control. I guess that'll be the theme of the Real America's Voice show tonight. Don't forget my website, GrantStinchfield.com. That's GrantStinchfield.com. Stinchfield1776 on all the social media platforms. I appreciate everybody watching. Please share, like the video, subscribe to the channel wherever you're watching. That really helps. And again, like and comment also helps amplify the voice. Stinchfield's Army rolls. We will see you tonight on the Real America's Voice show. Thanks for watching, everybody.